Are you in the life-saving business? Well, you ought to be, because that's what God calls Christians to be and to do, to save lives from spiritual separation from God, which the Bible calls death. Every believer is to be involved in the care for other believers, so that church is not just where you come to be blessed, but where you are helping to save the lives and the spiritual well-being of other Christians. When Christians stray from the truth, that's called backsliding. When they wander away from God because they wander away from the truth. The reality is Christians do wander from God. The Bible is full of Christians who've abandoned their faith, who've walked away from fellowship with God, and they find themselves getting further and further away from the truth. Where we're told that we have a responsibility to interpose ourselves into the midst of spiritual abandonment of others. The church is not just for singing and preaching and fellowship, that too, but it's also for rescue, to rescue people in order to restore them back into fellowship with God. God wants us to interpose ourselves so that he doesn't have to deal with it directly, because when he has to deal with it, it tends to be a lot worse. But if we deal with it and we can bring people back, then God does not have to deal with it and bring greater devastation in order to wake them up. He says that when believers are in the rescue, life-saving business, when we do that, we cover a multitude of sins. In other words, we cover an accumulation of failure in their lives, but we also cover it for ourselves, because God uses our rescue of others as a means of showing mercy for when we need rescue ourselves. We want to be not a fake church with fake Christians, but we want to be a real church with real Christians who care about others who stray from the truth. You can get a summary of this sermon, the outline, additional scriptures, and a summary of the content by going on to ocbfchurch.org/study guide and review the passages so that you yourself become a lifesaver and rescuing other believers who need your intervention.